Hello everyone. I hope you're doing good and you're making progress in speaking English, isn't it? Write in the comment section and let me know what is your progress and how you feel about my sessions. So guys, today also I've thought of coming up with some practice techniques or some practice techniques which are very simple, which are very basic, which doesn't require any resources. You can do it very easily by yourself. Okay, so this is really going to help anybody and everybody. Like if you are a housewife, if you are a business owner, if you are an aspiring model, if you are an aspiring sports person, if you are an aspiring professional, student, anybody and everybody who want to learn English, who has just started and they don't have much resources, they don't want to pay money and they want to start speaking in English. These are very effective and very basic ways of learning to speak English. See, in the beginning, you're not very confident, you're not, of course, fluent. You are learning a language, right? You're not very confident, and it will be difficult for you to start speaking about or speaking in that language, right? So, you have to gain some knowledge, you have to start utilizing what knowledge you have so that you can put things to practice, right? I can't tell you right now that go and start studying grammar, go and start listening to things which you don't understand, okay, or start reading books or newspapers which have difficult English. You have to start with basics, right? So you have to build up your basic and then you have to progress, right? So today I'm going to talk about some techniques which are really going to help you to start talking in English. Okay, and in the process you will start understanding English as well. On that note, guys, I am your communications coach and a soft skill trainer by profession, and I'm here to help you out with all your communications problems and to help you speak English fluently and confidently. And if that sounds interesting, please do subscribe my channel quickly and like and share my videos so that it reaches maximum people and they can get benefit out of it. So let's get started. Today I'm going to talk about a very basic thing. I hope you have seen a child. When the child starts talking, he's very curious. He or she is very curious. They have a lot of questions. Whatever they see, if they see a car, if they see a bike, if they see a color, if they see anything, they ask, what is this? What is the use of this? Or why it is there? So silly questions, any damn question they start asking. Even they ask questions which you don't know how to reply to them, right? So that is the level of questions they ask. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is you also start asking questions to yourself. When you are around an environment, wherever you are, at home, in park, or at school or college or office or anywhere else, you are at a cinema theater, at a sports stadium, wherever you are, start asking questions to yourself. Okay, now what kind of questions you can ask? If you're at home, you're sitting on a sofa and you're watching a television, you can always ask, what am I doing here? And then reply. So you can reply, oh, I'm sitting on a sofa, I'm watching television. And then you can add more details to it. I was getting bored, I wanted to watch something, so I thought of turning on my TV and watching something and relaxing. So you can add some more details to it. So this is how you can start asking questions. You can use what, why, where, how, these questions, right? If you are eating something, you can ask yourself, what are you eating? Why are you eating? How it tastes like, right? And start answering those questions. What am I eating? I'm eating idli. Why am I eating? I was hungry. I wanted to have something for breakfast. I'm eating idli. How does it taste? The idli is very soft and spongy. The chutney is also very good. It's sweet and spicy, right? So you can start asking questions and start answering those in English. This is the best way you can start yourself to speak or help yourself to start speaking. Okay, it is your comfort zone. You know what questions you can ask, simple questions you can ask to yourself. What is this? What is that? You can just point out towards a pen and say, what is this? What is its use? Why is it lying here? Or a book. Anything for that matter at your home when you are there. Or if you're outside, you see a lot of trees. You can just see, whoa, wow, it's a big tree. It seems that it's a very old tree. The leaves are still green, right? It has big branches. So you can just start asking questions and answering and describe that thing in little detail. So probably in the beginning you can use 1 or 2 sentences to describe that thing or to answer that question, but then later on start adding more details. So when anybody who's a beginner, anybody who's at an advanced stage can do this. It is very useful for everybody, all levels. Okay, so it is good for beginners, it is good for intermediate, it is good for advanced level also. Accordingly, you can start speaking. If you're a beginner, speak 2 to 3 sentences. When you are at an advanced level, add more details. Come up with 6, 7, 8, 10 sentences about it, right? And then if you're at an advanced stage, you can come up with a story probably around it. Okay, so these are the ways you can just add your difficulty levels to it according to your level or according to the which stage you are in. And it is very simple, guys. Just imagine or assume yourself to be a child and start questioning everything. If you see a red car, you can ask, which color is this? Oh, this car is red in color. Oh, which car is this? It's I-10. Right? How many people are sitting in the car? So accordingly, you can come up with questions and start answering those questions. And if required, start adding more details to it. Okay, so this is one way of starting to speak in English. This is, this is your comfort zone, guys. It is up to you what all questions you can ask, what all answers you can give, how you can come up with this, question, how you can come up with the answer. This way you will be able to be in practice of answering or asking questions, right? Tomorrow if you have to have a conversation with people, what we do? We either describe something or we ask some question or we answer somebody's question, right? These are the 3 things which we have in a conversation, or when we talk, we have these things, right? So in this way you will get trained to ask questions, you will get trained to answer questions, and you will get trained to describe things in detail. Okay, so after question and answers, some things you can pick up and describe. As I said about a tree, if you see a tree outside, it's a huge big tree, you can just start describing that. If you see a house, a beautiful house, a bungalow, you can start describing that. If you see a beautiful bird outside somewhere, start describing that. So questioning and describing something, a thing, these 2 are very essential, and these 2 are a part of our everyday speech or everyday conversation, right? What we do when we talk, we either answer questions or we ask some questions to the other person, or we describe something, right? We talk about something, which is like we are describing something, some event or some incident, or about something we are talking about, right? So that is the description we are giving. So these are the 3 things which we do while having a conversation, and these are the 3 things which are very necessary to speak or to communicate better. And if you want to speak in English fluently and confidently, if you want to communicate in English fluently and confidently, of course you have to get hold of these things. You should train yourself to ask questions, you should train yourself to answer questions, and you should train yourself to describe things. right? So right now what you do is you start with your comfort zone. You start asking questions about what you're doing or the activities which you do, or about the activities which you do, and you start describing things which are around you. Okay, this will help you a lot. It will help you to gain confidence also. It will help you to get started to speak, and you don't need much knowledge about it or to get to know more about those things to speak. You don't have to collect information before speaking about it. You have grown watching a tree, right? You don't need information like, you don't have to say which tree is this. It's just that you can just say what are the colors of the leaf, how big are the branches, how big is the tree, those things. So you can describe that. It's so easy, right? So start with the basics. Third thing which I want to tell you in this category is start talking to yourself. Now, these are the ways you're talking to yourself, right? You're asking questions and you're answering, you're describing something, you're talking to yourself, right? But there's another thing which is called talk to yourself. Now, what we do is many times we talk to ourselves in our heads, like when we do thinking, when we see something, when you're standing in imagine you're standing in a balcony or you're seeing people moving around here and there. Something comes to your mind, right? You start thinking about, oh, this one is, wearing a nice shoe, or this lady's dress is beautiful. Oh, look at the child, he's so naughty. So you start thinking, when you see something, immediately your brain starts reacting to it, and you start thinking about those activities or that situation, right? So this is what is called talk to yourself. You're talking to yourself in your mind. But what if you start thinking about the same activity which is going on, and you're thinking in mind in your mother tongue, you start thinking about it in English, right? You stop your mind thinking in your mother tongue and start thinking in English. Start describing those activities in English in your minds. Or I would rather say, all these activities, if you can do out loud, if you can speak out loud. But I understand every time it's not possible. If you're outside, you can't speak out loud and start describing a tree there, or you can't stand in your balcony and start describing out loud. So speak softly if you can, or at least start thinking in English. Start practicing to think in English if you're outside. But when you're at home, or if you're outside also, if you have that space, you can start talking out loudly. Loudly in the sense, it doesn't mean that you have to be like a loudspeaker. You can talk softly also, but it's just that you should hear what you're saying. Okay. Or you can come back home also and just can start describing things. It's not a big issue. So if you're at home also, at your comfort zone also, you can do all these activities. Okay. And I'll prefer if you can think in English. Thinking in English, talk to yourself is something, when you're thinking in English, it's good for you, right? It will help you in creating an English environment for you, which will help your brain, which will train your brain to think in English. It will help you in the future. These habits, if you develop, which is definitely going to help you in future. When you actually start speaking and having conversation with people, you will not have this problem of not thinking in English, or your mind getting stuck, or you're forgetting words, or you're forgetting sentences. So that problem will not be there. So you're right, since now, if you start doing this activity, you are training your brain also to think in English. Okay. So guys, this is really a good exercise. Start doing these activities for 10 minutes every day. So these are 10 minutes exercises which I am telling you. You can practice minimum 10 minutes for 21 days. Minimum 21 days. And you will see the progress. You can see the progress after 21 days, right? The other thing is, one more thing I want to add to this is, of course, if you are at home or if you are in a space where you can do this, you can always record it. Okay, record your voice, or you can, if you're comfortable, you can switch on your camera and start doing these activities. Now, what it will do is, this is something which is documented, it is recorded. So what you can do is, at the end of the day or the next day, or probably after doing this activity, when you listen to it, you will get to know where you are wrong or what is going wrong with you, where do you need improvement. Okay, which is a good thing to do. So if you are at home, if you're doing these activities, try to record it. It's just 10 minutes, guys, just 10 minutes. It's not much I'm asking from you. If you can do it for 20 minutes or 3 times a day, that's well and good. I mean, I'm not stopping you from doing that, but it's just that if you don't have time, if you are super busy but still you want to learn English and speak English fluently and confidently, start using these daily activities and start utilizing these things in your daily activities for 10 minutes to speak English fluently and confidently. Guys, trust me on this. If you start doing this, it is really going to help you a lot. You will see a lot of progress after 21 days. And then you can repeat again for another 21 days. And you can increase the difficulty level. As I told you, you can add more details. You can add stories. You can start building up stories. Right? So this way, your knowledge will increase, your confidence will increase, your fluency will increase, you will be able to make sentences, right? So it is really going to help you a lot in many ways. So guys, keep these things in mind. These are simple, small things, very basic things, but it does matter. It does bring a huge difference. Start practicing this from today and let me know after 21 days if it has helped you. See you until next time. Bye-bye.